Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a Night Domain Cleric build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. This mod was made by Havsglimt, and this is the antithesis to the Light Domain Cleric. It's all about using darkness, and it's a better class than the Trickery Domain Cleric, and what this does is it gives you the ability to see in darkness with a variety of different abilities like the Ward of Shadow, the Invocation at Night, and an improved Ward of Shadows, Veil of Dreams, and much more, which we'll be breaking down in this video. So at level 1 here, you get yourself the Veil of Dusk, and this is a unique spell to this. So cloak yourself and an ally in a shadowy veil of darkness and silence, granting the target a +1 to their armor class and advantage on stealth checks, which is great. So good if you got a rogue on your team, you want to help set them up. You also get the sleep spell. This is an underrated spell early game because that basically puts 3 goblins to sleep for a single spell slot. You also get the subclass feature Eye of Twilight. Your divine blessing grants you the ability to see more clearly in the dark, and you have dark vision up to 18 meters. But we get a better version you'll see soon. In the Ward of Shadows, which use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the attacker, similar to the Light Domain Cleric, but we're going to utilize darkness a little bit more effectively. The Light Domain is a very strong subclass, and I would say the best domain for the Cleric, but the Night Domain comes with a lot of cool tricks. Now, as usual, I recommend having at least 16 in your Wisdom here. I like to roll with a higher version of Dexterity personally, because Dexterity is so good in Baldur's Gate 3, but you can swap the Dex and Constitution around if you prefer having more health, and we'll put Intelligence there just for a little bit of flavor. At level 2, we get our Invocation of the Night. Harness the power of the night, clouding the vision of your foes in a shroud of darkness. All mundane and magical lights are extinguished, and enemies within the radius are possibly blinded for a number of rounds equal to your level in this class. Yeah, blindness is good. It gives you advantage and them disadvantage on their attack rolls. And you also get the Turn Undead as per usual. We also get some, it does require, or I guess I have the Mr. Spells mod downloaded for another class mod, but I would recommend grabbing Create Water, Healing Word, Command, Bless, and Sanctuary, or Guiding Bolt if you prefer to have a little bit of radiant damage. But into level 3, we're going to go ahead and we get Darkness and Moonbeam, which is great. Darkness being pretty overpowered, but not until level 8 when we can get the magical darkness going around. So I'd recommend grabbing Hold Person here or Spiritual Weapon. Those are 2 really good spells just to grab. Once we hit level 4, we get ourselves our first feat. Also can take another cantrip. I should have mentioned we're going to want to have Sacred Flame, Resistance, or Guidance, and Toll the Dead. And Toll the Dead is going to be your early game cantrip of damage. And then for our, I guess, level 4 spell, we'll take Spiritual Weapon. Use the Maul. The Maul can daze targets so that they have disadvantage on their saves against Hold Person Command. And then we're going to go with an ability score improvement on our Wisdom or the Alert feat. It's always a good choice to go with the Alert feat because in this game, if you go first, you sometimes can set up darkness and win. So I actually might prefer going with the Alert feat there. Into level 5, we get ourselves the Grand Flight and Fear spells, which are 2 amazing spells. Fear can really set up a lot of extra stuff. Most notably, dropping the weapons, picking them up for yourself. And we're going to go with the Spirit Guardians there. Now, Glyph of Warding is another really good spell because it's like a mini fireball with half the range. If you're a half elf, you can put the sleep at your feet, knock everyone else out, and you're immune to the sleep. So that can be a good choice as well, but we want Spirit Guardians as soon as possible. And level 6 gives us our improved Eye of Twilight, giving us dark vision up to 37 meters, and the improved Ward of Shadows like the Warding Flare. Now you can turn an attack roll into disadvantage on your teammates, which is obviously really great. We also got Glyph of Warding. I also like to take Mass Healing Word here, especially if you have like the Bless Ring. And level 7 gives us our Stellar Bodies. So this goes 2d8 radiant conditional plus a 48. So create 2 small stars that orbit you, possibly dealing 1 to 8 radiant damage for each orbiting star. As an additional action, you may cause a star to streak towards the enemy, expending it, exploding in a flash. This is 4 to 32 radiant damage and possibly blinds the target. Then we also got Greater Invisibility. You know, it's kind of funny is this build actually kind of works around the radiating orbs, which doesn't fit thematically. You don't have to use it, but it's a good choice. I'd actually recommend grabbing Mass Healing Word. Guardian of Faith is nice, but we don't need it at this level. Level 8 gives us our Veil of Dreams. You gain mastery over sleep. You can cast a unique version of the sleep spell with greatly improved health points, allowing you to affect more sleep creatures. Furthermore, creatures put to sleep with the spell cannot be woken up until the start of your next turn, so you can let your teammates go hog wild, beating them up. So that's 38 health points, and yeah, that's pretty good for a level 1 spell slot because if you put a target to sleep, then you get a free critical hit off on them, and it takes them out of the fight, turns the action economy in your favor. And here, level 8, we get the Eye of the Twilight Dark Sight. This allows you to see in both magical and non-magical darkness up to a distance of 24 meters. Big thumbs up from me there. That's an amazing ability. And we also get to take a feat, which I would recommend grabbing a Wisdom or taking the Warcaster feat if you want to hold your concentration on Spirit Guardians. Level 9 gives us 2 spells that are not that effective, but they're there. Dispel, Evil, and Good, and the Seeming spell. Seeming's kind of silly, but we're going to, I guess, grab Flame Strike, not super useful. Insect Plague for crowd control, and I guess you could go with the Mass Cure Wounds or Planar Binding. Planar Binding is probably better in a vacuum. Level 10, Divine Intervention, and another cantrip. Sweet. Produce Flame's not bad for a little extra fire damage. It lights your hand up. Level 11, obviously a pretty powerful ability, Planar Ally that we get, and Hero's Feast. With Hero's Feast, you can buff your entire team. Your summons get more health. But Planar Ally is really good with the Genie, because it can teleport and use Thunder Wave to push enemies off of ledges. Super overpowered. And for our level 12 here. Now, I'm going to go past level 12 because this does have abilities past level 12, but if you're just sticking at level 12, that is perfectly a-okay. We're going to go with the boost to our Wisdom just for better spell cast. May as well max that stat out. Level 13 just gives us another spell slot, and we can take another spell. Really, we got what we want. We don't really need too much else. You can prepare some different things here. If you prefer having any particular spell here, you even got Mr. Spells for some extra choices. Animate Dead can sometimes be nice, just with Hero's Feast, drag a little extra aggro away from your team since the undead are so low in health. As we continue to level up, though, we do get some more features. So here we get ourselves, you can go with the Warcaster feat as mentioned. You could even go with Spell Sniper and take Eldritch Blast. It's never a bad thing to do, honestly. The Lucky Feat's another good choice. You could even just go with an increase to your overall dexterity, especially if you want to wear medium armor. That's not a bad choice. I also like the Tough feat since we're going to level 20. This gives us 40 extra health. It's nice. A lot of extra survivability. Great resource. Now, level 17 gives us our Eyes of the Twilight True Sight. You grant yourself True Strike for a number of minutes equal to your Wisdom modifier. Your True Strike only functions while in darkness. And then you also get the Creature of the Night. Activate a supernatural aura of deep night. This darkness and shadow overlap and continually smother existing sources of light. Enemies within the shadows are blind and continuously feel the presence of hungry predators watching towards them, making them fearful, which they can't move, as long as they remain inside the aura. Yeah, that's pretty good. You can imagine, and we'll show you that in the combat section here. Another Channel Divinity at level 18. Great. And then once we hit level 19, we get our final feat here, which, again, Lucky's a good choice too. We could even go with like the I mentioned Warcaster there for advantage of saving throws and a reaction Shocking Grasp. Although there's an amulet that can kind of give you similar effects there. You could even go with the if you wanted to go back up here and take the Actor feat if you're the face of the party. Not a bad choice, I guess. I think the best choice here is either a Constitution or a Dexterity increase. Just because Dexterity gives you initiative, it's honestly a really good choice there. And then level 20 gives us our level 7. I guess we have like level 9 spell slots, but yeah, I'll show you the gear here now. And I am using the Knights and Dames armor mod here, so that's the armor that I have on my character. And Tab's Hair Salon with the Bangs Everywhere mod for this hairstyle. Now, as far as gear goes, there's actually quite a few really good options here. So I'm going to use the Luminous Armor. I know this goes against everything this is about, but hear me out on this. So this class is about blinding and darkening your foes. This will blind them with light. I mean, we got radiant damage spells, and we even have things like the Stellar Bodies, which actually it's really good on this. So I like this. If you want something a little bit more traditional for a cleric, you can go with the Armor of Agility. This will give you a +2 to saving throws and put your full dexterity modifier to your armor class, giving you a bit more survivability. But I like this here for the Radiating Orbs. You could also use, I guess, if you want to go full in on the Radiating Orbs, you get the Luminous Gloves there, but I'm just going to use the Gloves of Reviving Hands here to apply Blade Ward on targets when I heal them. And we got a few different healing spells, but I also like to heal myself with the Ring of Regeneration, which will apply Blade Ward to ourselves every single turn, and it'll also apply Bless with the Whispering Promise. These are like the best cleric gear. I always have these equipped. And you also have the Hell Rider's Pride, which you can get in Act 1, which does the same thing as this here. The Boots of Stormy Clamor, another Act 1, so when we apply Radiating Orbs, we also apply Reverberation on the enemy. And then I got the Holy Lance Helm here, so whenever you get a target misses you with an attack, they take radiant damage, which will reapply the Radiating Orbs. But if you want something a little more traditional, Helm of Baldur in there, Hood of the Weave, even good if you want spellcasting. I'd recommend having someone on your team with the Steel Watcher helmet so that they get the ability to see in darkness. But Haste Helm is a good Act 1 item to use for a helmet. Now, I have the Staff of Cherish Necromancy there. You can use that with the Harm spell. That's obviously not the most ideal. If you really want to maximize your effectiveness in combat, the best way to do that is Mark of Heshker, Bolts of Doom, get the lightning charges from it. However, you could also go with the Morning Frost in the early game. This gives you a Ray of Frost that'll scale off your Wisdom. I'm just going to use Mark of Heshker here because it is a crazy caster, and it gives us lightning charges on our abilities, which again will further boost up some concepts. Now, I also like to have the Hell Rider Longbow for that +3 to initiative here, and Viconia's Walking Fortress, so we got a lot of defensive abilities. So before combat started, I summoned in our Genie and applied Spirit Guardians. Yes, I know, it's a little weird to have radiant damage and glowing guardians. You can use the necrotic one if you want a bit more flavor, but This is going to apply Radiating Orbs. This is always a good thing on the Cleric. Yes, you can upcast if you're going level 20 because that gives you all the extra spell slots. But we also want to use the Creature of the Night here because this is going to be nice because now we got this huge area of darkness that we should set down and control. So all these enemies are fearful and we're now hidden. So this actually lets us hide out in the darkness. It looks really cool here with all this making everything darker. But now what we can also do is go ahead here with Sanctuary or something else to be able to basically hold down the spot. We're sneaking there, but we're also, I guess, applying our Spirit Guardians as well. And we move around with the darkness. So yeah, what's cool is you can run with your darkness and your Spirit Guardians. It's kind of counterintuitive, but it works. And it sets up the debuffs on the enemies with the reverberation and all that combined. So it's kind of funny, but you want to use your other abilities here too. I guess we could also use, I should have mentioned the, should have used the Kreska's Fair before getting into combat. And yeah, you can barely see stuff, but that's because we got our Ward of the Shadows here. So main hand attack against Minsk. Let's turn that into a miss, a critical miss at that. Oh, that was worth doing. Nice. Yes, it's a little dark. That's kind of the whole concept of this. It's kind of funny. What's cool is it also automatically had Shadowheart stealth away here. So she's in her stealth form too. So yeah, all these fearful enemies here. Oh, running into our Spirit Guardians and getting burned up. Pretty funny. Oh, they cast Calm Emotions there. That's pretty funny. One of the best things, though, is this Genie is so good. So he's got Thunderwave here. He's immune to being feared, and he can knock enemies right off the ledge there. So you want him there. If you need positioning, he's also got the Shifting Winds to be able to teleport wherever he needs to go. It's really great. They even use Detecting Presence because they're trying to find us. They're having a hard time. It's really funny because this isn't something that typically happens too much whenever you get into combat unless you set up some certain things. So having a spell that allows you to do that reliably is really cool. I lost my Spirit Guardians because I got hit with command, but that's okay. We also got the Veil of Dreams Sleep. Now, you can also upcast that, and it scales pretty well. And the nice thing is you can go ahead here. This puts this target to sleep. They put, yeah, not enough to get 2 targets to sleep, but you can get pretty strategic with this depending on the spell slot expended. You can, yeah, if you're able to put 2 targets to sleep, that's a pretty good use of your action there. Yeah, it's going to cost us our highest level spell slot. I guess I could just to show this off, but there you go. Free sleep on 2 targets, deep sleep too, so you can go ahead and attack them. And that sleep counts the condition, so it applies reverberation on them, adding insult to injury. Now, we also got our Invocation of the Night here, which we can use to set up even further darkness in a spot. So you can go ahead here applying that. Those targets are fearful too, and we got our own darkness there because we were still getting spells cast through it, and that's okay. But yeah, we also got our Mass Healing Word here, which we can use to be able to buff up our teammates to give them Bless and Blade Ward. It only removed the sleep off these targets to just put them into prone, so you don't get the free crits off against them. But yeah, and hit them with the bye. Boom. Yeah, love the Genie for that. I guess we use the Stellar Bodies here now, so we have a few Radiating Orbs on this target. You then get the Streaking Star, which you can then use per turn to shoot the light at a target. So boom, you can blast them with that. It stacks up even further Radiating Orbs, giving them minuses to their attack rolls. It's cool. You also get the Veil of Dusk if you want to hold your concentration, giving you advantage on stealth checks and that +1 AC, which is quite nice. But we also got, I guess, Flame Strike's probably our only really decent damage spell that we got. We even got, I guess, Glyph of Warding can work as well. We could drop one of these down. Glyph of Warding is interesting. It's kind of like a fireball or a lightning ball that you can just pop down on the ground. It does mediocre damage, but it's something. And they missed me, which gave me the ability to apply a reverberation on them, and they took damage. He tried to shove my Genie because he's upset. What's funny about this is all the darkness that's around the battlefield. Oh, we got another improved Warding Flare. Didn't end up working out for us, unfortunately, but those things happen. And we get the 3-peat. We get the Genie 3-peat. We got the Genie 3-peat. He ragdolled as he fell off the edge. Oh, I love the Genie for that. And we got Blast and Blade Ward up on ourselves. We feared the target. Again, that fear is really nice because that can apply reverberation on the enemy. So yeah, you want to move around if you can because that can stack up some extra statuses. The Spirit Guardian is probably actually our true best damage option, other than I guess Flame Strike if you want to expend a higher level spell slot on that. But I'm just going to go ahead at that there. So this really benefits from having a full darkness team. I would recommend if you wanted to play with a Warlock because they get Devil's Sight. There is 3 pieces of gear: Sharp Spear of the Night, the Steel Watcher Helmet, and the Eversight Ring you can pair on your other teammates to give them the ability to see in darkness. The Beastmaster Ranger is a good companion as well because their Raven can fly and drop darkness everywhere, and you can also shoot arrows of darkness. So that'd be my recommended team comp. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit that subscribe button below if you enjoyed, and we'll catch you all in the next video.